Ladies and gentlemen, we're live. We're back. Week number 18 of Maloney's Moneyline on the Brew Party podcast. This is the second half of episode 40 of the Brew Party podcast. This is Maloney's Moneyline, our weekly gambling segment with the one, the only, Ryan Maloney. I'm Andy. He's Ryan. We're here. We're giving you picks. I'm not going to say that they're good picks because I went 1-7 last week. Absolutely atrocious week last week for me. Worst in Maloney's Moneyline history. Just really had me considering retirement. You know, Ryan, I'm a bigger man than that. So, you know, I'm here. I'm showing my face once again. I'm picking myself up, and I'm here to bring some winners this week. The last 2 weeks been going super diving into those against the spread records and over under records. Threw it all out this week. Change everything. Need to change everything. Enough about me. My beautiful guest, Ryan Maloney's here, giving more winners. He goes 4-4 last week. How you doing, buddy?
It could be better, but that's all right. The show must go on.
Like you said on Twitter, the show must go on. So how was your week this week, my man? I know we're really going to do sports talk. We're really going to dive into the picks here in just a minute, but get an update. I feel like I haven't talked to you in a little bit. How you doing? Because I guess you said you could be better, but anything special going on?
Doing well. Had a pretty average Thanksgiving. Just got some food and everything and just chilled out. But yeah, I mean, can't complain. Living life to the fullest.
Living life to the fullest. College football's back. College basketball's back. That's good to see. My Illini pick up a tough loss last night, but it's against the number 2 team in the nation, Baylor, who's a very, very good basketball team. We didn't have a great performance from our 2 stars, Kofi Coburn and Ayo Dosunmu, but we live to see another day. We got Duke on Tuesday, so that is going to be a big one. That'll be a fun one. Ryan, let's go over our weeks last week just real quick, as much as I don't want to do it here. But we'll start with you. You go 4-4. Not great, but could be a lot worse. So your new record now sits at, I have it right here, 77, 53-2. Still killing it. Still an incredible record. You have, like I said, 4-4. The Cardinals miss for you. The Egg Bowl stays under. Cleveland and Jacksonville goes over, which I also missed on. And then the Rams lose to San Francisco. One thing that we should bring up is the incredible backdoor cover by the Eagles. They cover 6.5. Luckily, you get it on Wednesday. I think you got it the day before Thanksgiving when Seattle's at -5. So you're able to still pick up the win there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine how I would have felt if we recorded and the line was a little bit different than that, because I probably still would have taken them. I don't have really much faith in the Eagles at all to cover the spread, especially against a good team like Seattle. So I'm very happy that I got it at -5.
Yeah, absolutely. That was just, I realized that because Brew picked the Seahawks, of course. And so I rode with Brew Boy as I usually do, and that late touchdown just was fucking awful, just heartbreaking. Yeah. You had people. I'm in a couple of like sports betting groups on Facebook, and everyone's like, "This shit is rigged. The NFL is rigged." It's like, dude, they're down 14. You go for the we're numbers, guys. Ryan, as you know, so why go for 2 there? Because the numbers say you go for 2 down 14. If you get it, you're down 8. You just need a touchdown and the extra point wins the game. If you don't get it, you still have a 50% chance of getting that 2-point conversion. So my week last week, if we have to talk about it, so I'm now 72, 60-1, cooled off immensely after a 7-1 week 2 weeks ago. I go 1-7 last week. Just nothing goes right. The one thing I hit on is my underdog of the week is Tennessee +3. The Raiders, who I was so confident were going to smash the Falcons coming off that good game against the Chiefs, just get destroyed. Pathetic. Buffalo LAC goes under because Anthony Lynn doesn't know how to manage a clock. I also had Cleveland and Jacksonville under 49, goes barely over. Arizona loses. I had them as well. The Giants aren't able to cover versus Cincinnati. UNC and Indy goes fucking under 68 after it was 14-14. It felt like 5 minutes into that game. And then IU and Maryland goes under 63.5. Another one, two high-powered offenses there. Michael Penix Jr. for the Hoosiers is now out for the year, and Talia Tagovailoa just had a very rough day for the Terrapins. That was kind of the whole mantra of my weekend, just very rough. Tennessee was the only one that came through for me. If we look at our overall record now, so we're 149, 113, and 3, plus 25 units. We were plus 31.5 units last week. Not so fast, my friend. We're back down to plus 25. Still amazing, but like I said, Ryan is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. 77, 53, and 2. If we look a little bit at the records, so if you were to put $100 on all of our bets, something we like to look at the numbers for here, not that Ryan and I are doing that at all. If you were to put $100 on each one of my bets, you would be up $661.01. That's plus 6.6 units. If you were to put $100 on all of Ryan's bets, this is where it just, I look at this number and I'm just like, I'm so bad at this. Like Ryan, you would be up $1,839.04. That's plus 18.4 units. And so total, you'd be up $2,500.05 if you were to put $100 on each one of our bets. That's plus 25 units. 114, 113, and 3. Like I said, if we dive a little bit deeper into Ryan's records, he is looking pretty good. So his favorites are 7 and 10, not great, but his underdogs are 11 and 6. His overs are 7, 9, and 1. His unders are also 11 and 6. His locks of the week are 10 and 7. And his other general picks are 30, 16, and 1. Just on an absolute heater right now, guys. I know 4 and 4 last weekend isn't the best, but he has not gone negative, I think, since that really bad 2 and 6 week, Ryan.
Yeah, I think I've been 4 and 4 the last 2 weeks. It's not great, but could be worse when you're looking at it as a unit perspective. Going even, you still lose a little bit because obviously, it's not even money on every bet. So the past couple of weeks, I think I've lost like 50, like half a unit each week. And it really shows in the numbers when you do all, like, you were not far behind, and then that one bad week you just lose 6 units. And
I was like a game behind you last week, and I just lost 6 units this last week. That sucks. So your college football continues to hit at an awesome rate, 15 and 6 when picking college football, and NFL is still great for you as well at 34, 26, and 1. Now we move over to the negative. That would be me. So my you're just making me look like an asshole. My own show, Ryan. Jesus Christ. So my favorites are 9 and 8. My underdogs are 10 and 7. My overs are 9 and 8. Unders are 8 and 9. Locks are 9 and 8. My other general picks are 29 and 20. And then when I'm picking college football, I also have 14 wins, but I have 16 losses and 1 push. So minus 2 units in college football. And then the NFL, I'm 33 and 31. I was like, did just so bad. Like everything I thought was going to happen in the NFL this last weekend just wasn't even close. Like wasn't even close at all. So that really bumped my NFL record down 33 and 31. Like I said, I'm 72, 60 and 1. Let's get into some positives. Let's get into our picks for this week. Let's give out some winners. We need some good juju. Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and let you start.
All right. Yeah. I'm about to shock you again. I'm going Colts minus 3.5 at Houston. I'm going to shock you because I'm just going to give a little stat. Houston is 4 and 7 against the spread this year, and they just lost Will Fuller for the season due to suspension. So Colts, really good defense, solid team. I think they can cover that spread.
Absolutely. I love that pick. Look out for that later on my card. But yeah, look at you with the stats. Ryan Maloney, numbers guy, like we said. So let's move over to my favorite of the week. Saints, minus 2.5 versus Atlanta. I'm going against the Falcons again, and let me tell you why. Without Drew Brees, the Saints are 7-0 straight up and 7-0 against the spread after winning 5 games last year with Teddy Bridgewater and now 2 with Taysom Hill. I think that minus 2.5 is a little bit too low. I know Atlanta just looked really good against the Raiders, but they quit like halfway through that fucking first half, it felt like. So I'm going to hammer the Saints here. I'm going to ride with Nolans, Ryan.
I love it.
Let's go to your Scooby-Doo underdog of the week.
All right, I'm going Cardinals +3 versus the Rams. I know the Rams have a pretty solid defense, really good rushing defense, but the Cardinals don't like their rushing attack isn't their strong suit. They're more fitted for passing, so I think it'll be a good game. But I think the Cardinals will win this outright, so I'm going to take them as my underdog.
Does it scare you at all what happened last week in New England with the Cardinals? And I mean, I know the Rams ended up losing to San Francisco as well, but not looking great. This is definitely a bounce back game for both of those teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, both of these teams, I wouldn't classify them as, good, solid playoff contenders, but, they're sneaky good. The Cardinals kind of cooled off after somewhat hot of a start of the season. But it'll be a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. Great analysis as always from Mr. Maloney. My Scooby-Doo underdog of the week. First ever on Maloney's money line college basketball pick on Sunday. I'm taking the Texas Longhorns +2.5 versus Villanova. Not sold on Nova this year. They've already lost a game to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is a great basketball team. Texas is coming off a win in the Maui Invitational in Asheville, North Carolina, where they have looked great. I really love the freshman Greg Brown. I know that's really easy to say, though, just because he's an absolute stud. They also have Andrew Jones is now playing for – and Shaka has hair now. Get Matthew McConaughey in that bubble. Get him quarantined. Get him with this team. Either way, I'm taking the Longhorns +2.5. My first college basketball pick on the Brew Party podcast. Let's go.
All right. Yeah, I'm sure I'll throw in a few college basketball picks in the future, but I'm not ready yet.
Yeah. There's also a huge game, Baylor versus Gonzaga on Saturday. That's number 1 versus number 2. Baylor enters as 3.5-point favorites. I'm really looking at that game as well. I really like the Baylor Bears, especially if Gonzaga is going to be without Jalen Suggs in that game. So you gave me your underdog. You gave me your favorite. It's time for our overs of the week, Ryan. I'll let you go ahead and start.
All right. I'm going Bills 49ers over 48. One more stat for you. Bills 8-3 on the overs this season. I know San Francisco is not the greatest team, but they can still put up some points. And Buffalo's looking good. So I think 48's somewhat low for these two teams.
Yeah, I think that is a pretty low total as well. And, you talk about, it's Nick Mullins, a quarterback for the 49ers, but he's looked pretty good this year, barring the circumstances. And they got some of their weapons back, which is awesome. So Buffalo 49ers over 48 for my guy, Ryan Maloney. My over of the week, it's also at 48, but it is Green Bay and Philadelphia. -110 there. We saw what Green Bay did last week. They were able to put up 41 points themselves. Philly's offense can score. We saw with that backdoor cover, but I just think this total is a little bit low. I didn't look into any of the numbers for this. I'm just going with my gut this week. So Green Bay, Philly over 48.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Green Bay and Bears went over, and that was shocking. I don't know many Bears games that go over, but yeah, I wasn't expecting that to go over, and it did. Unfortunately, it was not in our favor, but that's all right. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, that was just terrible. On to Detroit. Mitch getting the start once again. So we'll move on to unders. Life's too short to bet the under. We still do it once a week anyways. Ryan, hit me with yours.
All right, I'm going Jaguars, Vikings under 52.5. Jaguars, I think Mike Glennon's still starting this week. I don't think they're going to score many points. Vikings are kind of iffy, can be hot one week, can be not the next week. So we'll see. I think this is kind of a high point total for these two teams.
Yeah, I don't really know what to think. Our guy Mike Glennon throwing 2 touchdown passes last weekend, and has he won the starting job in Jacksonville? That's hilarious to think about. But That's neither here nor there. So Minnesota, Jacksonville under 52.5. I don't know if I put that up on the screen or not. So there it is now. Kirk Cousins was just on Pardon My Take, and it was actually a great interview. Super shocking. Go check that out if you haven't heard that yet. He was so nice that they can't hate him. So my under, I'm going to college football. Nebraska, Purdue, under 62.5. Not sold on either two of these teams, so I'm going to take the under here. I think this is just too many points. I love the Big Ten unders. Nebraska, Purdue, under 62.5 at minus 109 odds there. Decent value. Sticking with more even amount of college football and NFL picks, hoping to reverse my fortunes this week. Let's move on to our locks of the week, Ryan. You better lock it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too confident in this lock. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm going Steelers -8 versus the Washington football team. I was really confident at first, and then, kind of remembered yesterday, Steelers didn't look that great against the Ravens. I mean, maybe it was just because, the game kept getting postponed. Just wasn't really in it for them. But I don't know. It's still going to be my lock. I'm locking it in. Steelers are 8-2 against the spread this year. So I think they'll win by a couple scores against the football team.
I just realized that I didn't write down a lock of the week, so I have to pick one really quick. I'm going to go, as much as this pains me to do this, Alabama -29 versus the Go Tigers. I'm taking Bama. Every time you've laid that many points with Bama, Ryan, it's worked out for you. I'm doing it again this week. I have 4 college football bets. Let's hope this works out for me. Bama -29 versus LSU. I apologize that I just realized I didn't even have a lock, and apparently I didn't write yours down either. So yours was Steelers -8 versus the Washington football team. Do you know the odds on that? I'm sorry, I didn't get the juice.
Yeah, it's 1 second. I have it on my phone and not on my computer. It is -110. So
-110 for that. Steelers -8 versus the Washington football team, and I'm taking the Alabama Crimson Tide as my lock of the week. You better lock it up. -29 versus LSU at -110. I just think it's too much. Bama's a title team this year. They're going to try to absolutely blow them out, I think, especially after last year and the LSU players running down the sidelines, running up to the recruits, telling them this wasn't the place to go. And I'm assuming Saban will be back and fully healthy, and I think Bama's going to be ready to go for this one. And LSU is just completely depleted. They lost their number 1 receiver who opted out. It's just a slew of guys have just been underperforming for them. They're very young, and they're just seems like they're just kind of punting on this year. I know this is a lot of points at 29. I hate laying this many points, but I'm going to do it. Bama -29 versus LSU is my lock of the week. Let's move on to our other general picks, Ryan. You go ahead and start us off with that one.
All right. Yeah, I'm going New York Football Giants +10 at Seattle. I mean, I'm not positive. I don't think Daniel Jones is playing this week, but, that brings in Colt McCoy. So, yeah, I mean, they're 7-4 against the spread this year. I think they can get it done. Seattle has been kind of underperforming as of late, other than obviously Russ and DK Metcalf, who, by the way, has been an unreal wide receiver this year. But
Baby Brown.
I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think 10 points is a lot for a team that's performed so well against the spread. So
yeah, absolutely. It's just I know in our pick'em pool, like I think I picked the Seahawks more than anybody, but that was at the beginning of the year. Now they just play such weird football games that I'm just not sold. And in the NFL, it's been kicking me in the balls so hard the past 2 weeks. I know I just said I'm laying 29 points for the fucking Crimson Tide, but the 10 points in the NFL kind of scares me. So this one, Ryan, you're gonna like this one. You're gonna like my next pick.
All right.
Da, 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 da. Go Gators! Da, 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 da. The Florida, oops, not that one. The Florida Gators minus 17 versus the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee is hot garbage this year. What's new? Florida, their offense is electric. Kyle Pitts is back. I know you were texting me last Saturday, and just every time it was, Pitts just scored again. Oh, Pitts just scored again. I love Kyle Trask. He's my Heisman pick this year. I think he's unequivocally the best quarterback in college football this season. If you're just looking at it from a pure numbers perspective, I know you can point to Trevor Lawrence, who's missed a couple of games. Justin Fields only played 4 games. Mac Jones has had a great year for Alabama. I like Mac Jones. I think he's a solid quarterback, but I do think he is more of a product of that system and all of the insane talented guys he has at the skill position there. But yeah, that's not even what we're talking about here. I'm talking about Florida minus 17 versus Tennessee. Jarrett Guantanamo, or however you say his name, I probably said that wrong. Tennessee's quarterback has thrown more pick sixes in the last few games with 3 than he has touchdowns. So I don't know if it's the last 2 or 3 games, but he's got like 3 pick sixes and 2 touchdowns. So not great. Florida minus 17 versus Tennessee. Let's go over to yours.
All right. Well, I mean, I had Florida minus 17.5, but I might as well just take minus 17 if that's what the line's at right now. So, yeah, I mean, somewhat of a rivalry game. I know Georgia is more so of Florida's rival. But, I think they really need to start kind of blowing teams out the rest of the last couple games of the year, especially heading into the SEC championship. That's obviously a must win if they want to make the playoffs. But even still then, they still got to convince the committee that they're a top 4 team with that 1 loss against Texas A&M. So I think they definitely need to win considerably moving forward for the last few games of the year. So I'm riding with you. Go Gators, baby.
Go Gators. We need it. Need a big victory. Need to get my college football record up here. So my next pick, staying in college football, a game that was just announced the past couple days, BYU Coastal over 61.5. BYU's trying to build their resume as much as possible. They love putting points on the board. Coastal can score the ball as well. 61.5 may seem like it's kind of high, but I'm going to hammer this. BYU Coastal over 61. I know it might scare you away that they don't have a full game plan ready because this game just got announced, but I have to assume that both of these teams will come in ready to go. These are 2 mid-major teams that are on the center stage this season that are both, I believe, still undefeated. So it's going to be an awesome game. I'm going to take the over, hammer the over. I think BYU's like 10-point favorites. I do think they pull this one out, but I love the over.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be a shootout.
And then let's go to your next pick.
All right, last pick, I believe.
Last one.
LA Chargers money line versus the Patriots. I don't know. It's basically a pick'em game right now. Why'd you smile?
Bolt up, baby. The Chargers. I don't know.
No, I know. Yeah. Last week was quite possibly
you're trusting Anthony Lynn.
Quite possibly the worst clock management I've ever seen.
Well, did you see the play where Herbert goes for the sneak and the line drops back into pass protection? What is going on? That's awful. I've never seen that before.
It was a mess. It was like they didn't know what to do. But I don't know. I think the Chargers are the better team. They have Eckler back. Keenan Allen is obviously a top weapon in the league. I just think that they can win this game. If you want to take it +1, go ahead, be my guess. But I'm just taking the money line because it's better odds. So,
lock that one in. Ryan says bolt up. Chargers money line versus the New England Patriots -104. Yeah, I like what you said there. I do the same thing. If it's +1, you might as well just take money line because how many games are really being won by 1 point in the NFL these days? And even if it's got to be more than 1 to hit. Anyway, so I sound stupid. But yeah, Chargers money line versus New England. That's Ryan's last pick. My last pick is one of Ryan's picks that he gave earlier. I'm taking the Colts -3.5 versus the Houston Texans -110. No Will Fuller. The Colts are coming off a loss, but they have a really good defense. I believe Kenny Stills is no longer with the Texans as well, so just less and less weapons for Deshaun Watson to throw to. The pass rush that Indianapolis has been very awesome this year with Buckner, Justin Houston, and then you talk about Darius Leonard, who is potentially the best linebacker in the league, or at least he believes so. Definitely playing very well this year. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Colts -3.5 as well. I'm going to ride with you on that one, Ryan. So those are all of our picks. It's 16 winners for you this weekend. I promise you I will not go 1-7. I promise you. At least I hope so. I really fucking cannot go 1-7. I might have to retire if back-to-back 1-7 weeks. This has been Maloney's Moneyline, episode number 40 of the Brew Party Podcast. Maloney's Moneyline, week 18, the 18th time Ryan and I have gotten together, the 18th week. I guess not in a row because we did miss 1 week, but it's always a wonderful time talking to sports, giving our picks every week. Ryan, any closing thoughts you have for me before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, even though I didn't pick them this week, I know it's a shocker to all the listeners, but fins up, baby.
Fins up, baby. That just goes without saying for Ryan. The Dolphins. Who do they play? The Bengals. I think they're 11.5-point favorites over the Bengals, and that one kind of scares me as well. Never know what you're going to get. Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. If you watch the live stream, the audio for this will be out tomorrow afternoon, along with the audio from our trivia and snake draft with the guys from You Hate to See It last night. I want to thank them once again for joining me last night. That was an awesome time. First time trying out trivia and then doing like a snake draft. That was fun. Go check that out. That video is available now on our Twitter and our Facebook and our YouTube. So on Twitter at The Brew Party, on Facebook at The Brew Party Podcast, and then youtube.com/The Brew Party. Go check that out. Awesome time with Adam, Jeff, and Nick from You Hate to See It. I want to thank them for appearing earlier on this episode. Go check their stuff out. They're available wherever you get your podcasts. Ryan, thank you so much. Also, the Brew Party is looking for sponsorships and ad reads, especially local and small businesses. I would love to work with you if you know of anybody that would enjoy that or would like cheap promo. I'm haven't done this yet, so I'm definitely offering very low prices. I will work with anybody, especially, like I said, local or small businesses getting that promo out. There'll be promo on live streams, on our social media, and on each episode. We already have one confirmed, so look out for that coming very soon, which is awesome. We're trying to grow the party. It's been great so far. I want to thank Ryan, as always, for joining me. Please like, rate, comment, review, subscribe, share us with a friend, follow or fade our picks. We don't care. But we're going to be here each week, giving them out and shooting the shit, talking about them. So this has been Maloney's Moneyline, week number 18 on episode 40 of the Brew Party Podcast. Please follow us on Facebook, like us on Facebook as well at the Brew Party Podcast. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Brew Party. And then please subscribe to our YouTube page, trying to get those subscriber numbers up. The Brew Party on YouTube. Just go ahead and throw that in the search bar. Thank you once again. I'm rambling. Ryan, cut me off. We're getting out of here.